guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I'm going to be doing an in-depth eyeshadow palette collection. This has been requested and I have wanted to do it for a while, just never got around to it. So today guys, I'm going to be going through both my eyeshadow palette drawers and also my new in drawer to show you what eyeshadow palettes I currently have in my collection. So let's just get started because I have a feeling this video is going to be so long. So I have the bottom of my Alex drawers here. The bottom one is Drugstore and the top one is my high-end eyeshadow palettes. I decided to do it like this because then I just feel like it's a bit more organised, and when I'm doing a certain video with a certain palette, kind of know where it is. Also, quick disclaimer before we get into the video, this is not to brag whatsoever. I have bought 90% of my eyeshadow palette collection. I know that it's a lot of eyeshadow palettes, no one needs this much, but I am a makeup addict, so I do tend to buy a lot. Some of these palettes were gifted to me in terms of like Christmas presents or birthday presents, but I've not been, I've been sent one palette. I think that was by Sleek, which I'll show you, but I've not been sent any of this makeup. I all bought it with my own money, so it's definitely not to brag. I'm proud of my collection. I've been collecting for over 3 years, so that is why I have such a huge collection. So without further ado, let's jump on into it. Let's start with the Drugstore drawer. Okay, so I have quite a lot of palettes in general really, but I do have quite a lot of Drugstore. I'm not gonna lie, most of them are like Revolution Beauty brands, but we'll go through them sort of pile by pile. So let's just start from here. So I have the I Heart Revolution Tasty Peach palette. This is one of my newer tasty palettes in my collection. I have done a video on pretty much, I'm gonna say that by a lot of these palettes. I do videos on them, but this is definitely one of my favourites I Heart Revolution palettes because it's absolutely stunning and the colour scheme is beautiful. I then have the Coffee palette. Again, this colour story is absolutely beautiful, definitely more on like your neutral cool tones, and it has these beautiful like shimmers in there. They're more like foily shades. They're absolutely stunning. Other tasty ones I have are the Revo Pooches palette. I always thought this was called Dogs, but it is Revo Pooches, and this is what it looks like. Kind of didn't know what to expect with this colour story when it came out, but it is really nice. Definitely has a mixture of different tones and shades in here. And then the last tasty palette I have is the Avocado one. So if you love your green eyeshadow, definitely check this one out. It is a really good affordable green Drugstore eyeshadow palette. I feel like green we're missing a lot in the makeup industry, so this is a really good one. Okay, moving on. I have a lot of these chocolate bar products just because I collected a lot of them, got them for Christmas and stuff, so I do have a lot of them. This is not all of them. I do have some in my other drawer, which I'll show you towards the end of the video. So this first one is called S'mores. It's definitely more of the brownie cool toned nudes palette. I do have the other one somewhere which is more pinky, but I wanted to keep this one in this drawer because it is more cool toned brown. I have the Peanut Butter Cup one, which admittedly is not really my favourite. It doesn't have the best colour story. It is a bit random, I feel. But if you pick out like the more like wearable shades and just add like a gold shimmer, you could easily get like a nice neutral eye out of it. I then have the Chocolate Truffle, which is again one of my newest ones. This is absolutely stunning. I love this colour story. The shades in it are really nice and pigmented. It doesn't have the like chunky foils in here, but the shimmers in here are definitely still good enough, and I just love this colour story. Okay, I have the Strawberry Cheesecake one. This is one of the first ones I got. I think I got this like 2-3 years ago. It is a beautiful colour story. Admittedly, don't reach for it anymore that much. I don't reach for a lot of my chocolate bar palettes anymore. But this is a really beautiful pinky toned colour story. Next we have the Violet palette, which looks like this. I did actually do a recent video on this considering it's been out for a while, but it is a purple palette. It's not the most purple palette I've got in my collection, but it does have your like purpley tones in here, and the rest of them are like bronzy neutral shades. Next we have the Turkish Delight, which is again one of the newest ones. It does actually have chunky glitter in here, which is really cute. I do really like this palette. It's definitely one of the better quality I Heart Revolution palettes. I have Lemon Drizzle, which is a palette I haven't used in a long while. It's definitely more on your warm tones. So if you like a warm tone palette, check this one out. These palettes also range from like £9 to £10, so they're very affordable. The last chocolate bar I've got in this drawer is the Red Velvet, which is like a dupe of the Jeffree Star Blood Sugar. So if you're looking to get that one but didn't want to pay for the Jeffree one, then definitely check out this one to get a similar colour theme. And then to the left of those, I have all my Collab Revolution palettes. I do have this one on top, which is just the Foil Frenzy palette. I don't reach this as much, but I should, because it is just absolutely beautiful. Okay, so I have my Collab palettes here. I first have my favourite Collab palette, which is the Soph Extra Spice. I absolutely love this palette. Oh my god, it's definitely one of my favourites from the drugstore. Next, I have the Roxy Colour Burst palette, which is a very unique, colourful palette. It's absolutely stunning. If you've not got this in your collection, definitely get your hands on it. It's got the nice foily shades in it as well, which are super pigmented, which is what the Soph palette is missing, but it is still good, it's still really good quality, and these pastel shades are so unique. I have the Roxy Ride or Die palette, which is her like everyday sort of palette. It is beautiful. I love the tones of it in here, and it's definitely like a neutral palette, but like better than neutral, I think. I just feel like it's the step up from that. It's got really nice unique shades in here. Again, she absolutely smashed it with all of her range. I've got my OG Soph palette. Admittedly, don't really use this anymore, but if you love your everyday sort of neutrally tones, then this is a good palette. I have my Kami Make Magic palette. Again, don't really reach for this that much anymore. I do mainly like it for these top duochromes. Like if I just swatch that for you, like, oh my god, it's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to try not to swatch everything because I will be here for 5 years, but it is a nice palette, just not my favourite collab. I just mainly like it for the top row. Last collab palette in this bit, I have the Tammy Tropical Carnival. I didn't really like her first palette, like it didn't really speak to me, but this one does speak to me on several levels, and she's actually got a new collab coming out soon with them, so I'm excited to see what that is. And then I do actually have another chocolate bar palette in here. This is the cinnamon one. This is the all matte eyeshadow palette. Again, I have done a video on this. I've got a whole I Heart Revolution playlist if you want to go check that out. Okay, moving on to these little palettes here that were just behind them. So I have a Primark Berry Velvets palette. This was like £3, very inexpensive. I have actually done a video on this. And then I have 6 of these Heartbreakers palette. I'll quickly just run you through them. I've got the blue one. Well, I've got all of them, but I finally picked up the pink one. I told you guys I'd pick it up because I wanted the whole collection. I've got the red one that I'm yet to do a video on. The blue one you would have seen before this video. The purple one, which I still need to do a video on. Majestic, which was the first palette I got, and I did this in a whole review on their Heartbreakers collection. And then the green one, which I was so impressed with the quality. Like, this shade is unreal. This bit is really disorganised, but oh my god. So this is technically an expensive palette, but it is drugstore because it's from Colourpop. So this is the So Jaded palette. Oh my god, guys, if you don't have this, you need it. Quality, pigmentation, absolutely insane, and there's also a couple of glitters in here. Absolutely love that. Now I do have another Colourpop palette. This is the Dream Street. They're both Kathleen Light collabs. This is a beautiful neutral warm toned like everyday palette. Next I have a few Makeup Obsession palettes. I have the Rady Dusk palette, which is one I need to kind of reach for more. It's absolutely beautiful. I love the tones of it. And then I have the Daydream palette, which, oh my god, guys, this is such a pigmented and good quality colourful palette. I love this. And then I have the Kisses palette, which is more of like a pinky red. I have this one by Revolution Pro, which if I can open, is the Wild Onyx palette. This is one of their new eyeshadow palettes. It's really expensive. This was like £10, but it is really good quality. To be fair, I do have a whole video on these. Have this Revolution palette. This is in the shade Authority. I don't believe you can buy this anymore because this was, oh my god, why can't I open it? I don't believe you can buy this anymore because I did check the website and it was in my new in drawer, but it was a gift and you can't buy it. So it's sitting in this drawer here. I have not used this yet, but it is a nice neutral palette. I finally got my hands on the Lottie London Collab, the Living My Best Life palette. I am going to do a video on this. I'm going to do like a soft glam tutorial with like eye makeup and face makeup. I think I'm going to include this palette because it is so stunning. My other Revolution Reloaded palette is in Iconic Division. I use this in my half and half video where I tested Drugstore against high end. This was up against the Subculture palette and this was really good quality. Have this Revolution Pro eyeshadow palette. This is in the shade All That Glistens. It's more of their like Christmassy palette, but it is really beautiful. I have one of the colour books by Revolution. I didn't get around to picking up another one of these, but it's that palette that has like two sides. One side is completely shimmer and one side's completely matte. I do have a video on this. It is really good quality. These are expensive though. I think these are £15. And then I have my Bretman Rock Wet n Wild palette. This is limited edition, which I didn't realise, which is so annoying, but it is a beautiful colourful palette. Love the shades up here. I did do a recent video on this. And then this is not all of them, but I do have some of the Forever Flawless ones. I'll quickly run through these because I've got a lot here. So I have the Fire palette, which is like a gorgeous autumn sort of palette. Have the Chilled with Cannabis Sativa palette, which is one of my favourite Revolution palettes. It's such good quality. I have the Ice palette, which is a really good dupe for the Jeffree Star Blue Blood. So if you can't afford that, definitely check this out. It is pretty much identical to it. It's so stunning. I have the Constellation palette, which is one I don't think I've actually used, which is a bit embarrassing, but it has got some gorgeous tones in it. I don't know, I feel a bit overwhelmed with it. I don't really know what sort of look to do, but I definitely need to reach for this. I have the Decadent palette, which is a really lovely sort of, I'd describe it as like an everyday pinky toned palette. It is beautiful. The shades in here are absolutely stunning. And the last one in this drawer is the Unconditional Love palette, which is a pinky toned beautiful palette. So the last two in this drawer are Revolution collabs. I told you I have a lot of them. This is the Patricia Bright Rich in Life palette, which if I could show you, if I just move these out of the way, this is what it looks like. It is such a beautiful neutral palette with pops of colour. It is expensive, I think it's like £20, but it's so worth the money. And then the last palette in this drawer is the Emily Edits The Wants palette. Now, I don't think I've actually used this, and one of the shades is actually broke. It is, I don't really know, it's not my favourite colour story. I did get it free when I ordered a certain amount on Revolution. It come in like a mystery bag. It is beautiful. It's very neutral and cool toned, I think. So, I don't know. If you guys want to see a video on it, let me know. I'll be sure to include it in one. Okay, so this is all the Drugstore drawer done. I'm going to put all this away and we can move up a drawer to my high-end one. Right, this is my high-end drawer. It is organised, but I've put this massive palette on top, so it's why it looks a bit messy. Let's just get into it. So let me just remove this one. This is one of my Morphe palettes. This is the 39S, okay. I must have used this in a recent look. And this is a beautiful purpley toned palette. Like, oh my god. It is stunning. It is one of my favourite purple palettes, apart from my Bloodlust palette. oh my god, hands down, this is such a good quality purple palette. So definitely check that out if you love your purples. Okay, so this is kind of semi-organised. I have a couple of big Jeffree palettes here, ABH palettes, more small random ones, and then at the back is like my Morphe and stuff. So let's just get started. This is one of my few Jeffree Star palettes. This was the first one I actually owned. I do love this. I love blue eyeshadow and it is just freaking beautiful. Such good quality. It is expensive but very good. I then have my Conspiracy, which is still in the packaging because I tend to keep the packaging on my expensive palettes. This is what it looks like. Obviously this is in collaboration with Shane Dawson. I absolutely love this. I haven't used it in ages. I feel like I need to use it because some of the tones in it are beautiful. You can also create like colourful looks, but can create a nice neutral colour story as well. So really like that one. My two other Jeffree palettes, I have the Mini Breaker, which has more purples and pinks inside, and then I have the Mini Controversy in collaboration with Shane Dawson. He's coming out of a new one with the green shade, or the green shade is going to be in separate packaging. And then I have a lot of ABH palettes, so let's just quickly run through these. So I have the Lisa Edwards one, which is definitely the most colourful palette that ABH have done in terms of like their smaller palettes. I have the Riviera, which is again on the colourful side, really nice. I need to use this, haven't used it in a while. I have the Jackie Aina, which is one of my favourite ABH palettes. It's just such good quality. I have my Subculture, which I recently used in a video. I have the Carly Bible palette, which again I used in a recent video testing Full Face of ABH. This is definitely not my favourite, but it is really stunning. I have probably my favourite palette by ABH, and it's their Soft Glam. Beautiful neutral warm tones. Have my first ever palette, like first ever high-end palette and first ever ABH palette, is the Modern Renaissance, and I used this to absolute death when I got it. And I have the Prism one, which is definitely not my favourite. Like the colour story is a bit random. I feel like you need to use another palette when using that. And then the last one, which is at the back, is my Amrezy palette. This is beautiful, definitely Modern Renaissance older sister, but it is beautiful and I love the pop of blue. I don't have any Huda palettes in my collection, barring this one. This is the Gemstones Obsessions. If I just show you up close, it's just got loads of shimmery shades in it, so I use that when I need like a pop of shimmer. I have the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes. Again, this is like a beautiful warm toned palette, absolutely stunning. It's all matte though. And then I have one of my Jaclyn Hill like the Vault palettes. This is the Armed and Gorgeous one, which I use in my Full Face First Impressions. I do have the other three, but they're in my new in drawer, so that one has made its way into my collection. A couple of these on the side. I have the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. I need to use this again. It is absolutely so beautiful. For some reason I feel so overwhelmed by it. I'm not quite sure why, but I need to do a tutorial using this palette because it is stunning. And then I have my other Urban Decay palette, which is the Naked Heat. This is definitely much raved about when it first came out because it was like their proper first like warm toned palette, and I do really like this. I just don't reach for it that much anymore. And the pile at the back, I have my Beauty Bay Mitchell palette. I've used this, I don't know actually, have I used this in a couple of videos or have I just used in that one video? This is absolutely stunning. Just a hint, this is going to be the giveaway prize for when I hit 3,000, so get excited. I have another Jeffree palette in here. I have the Jawbreaker, which is a beautiful rainbow palette. I did do a recent video on this. I have the Morphe Jeffree Star palette, which I need to play with again. If I can open it and show you, I need to play with this again. I did obviously do a video on it when it first came out, but I haven't played with it much since then. I did do a foxy eye look using it, but I need to play with like the pinky purpley tones in here. I have the Morphe 24A Artist Pass palette. This is so beautiful. Like, it has a mixture of neutrals, mixture of colours. All this bottom row is shimmers. It has star glitter in this pan here, and the shades are incredible. Absolutely love this. I have the OG Morphe and Jaclyn Hill palette. This took me so long to buy because it's quite expensive, but one day I was just like, you know what, I'm going to treat myself. It is a beautiful neutrally palette. I feel like it's a good everyday palette as well. Again, don't use this as much. This palette gets stuck at the back, and I don't know why, because it's the same size as 89S. So this is the 39A palette, if I can show you that properly. This is a 39A. It's definitely more on the neutral side, but it has loads of browns here. If you're a makeup artist, this would be absolutely perfect for you. It has pops of green in it, pops of blue, bit of purple, red, but mainly it is like your neutral tones. And the last palette in this drawer is my Morphe James Charles palette. Did use this in a recent video. It is probably one of my favourite palettes, just because it has absolutely everything you could possibly need in here. And I do think it's really good quality, so I'm very impressed. I'm just going to put all my palettes back in here, and then we'll move on to the last drawer, which is my new in drawer, which does have more of my eyeshadow palettes. Okay, I've just brought my drawers over here because it's like 10 times easier. I forgot I do have my overflow drawer as well, which is this one, and then I'll show you my new in drawer. So I have the Beauty Bay EYN 42 Bright Mattes palette. This is beautiful. It's a very affordable rainbow palette if you're looking for one. It's very good quality as well. I have my other two Jeffree Star palettes in here. So I have the beloved Bloodlust palette, which is his newest launch, and the purpley toned palette. This is gorgeous. I have Blood Sugar, which I didn't own until recently. I think I need to do a video on this, or like a video including this palette, because it's a beautiful warm toned palette. And then in here I've just got stuff that I just don't reach for really, but I still want to keep. So a few more I Heart palettes. I have Fruit and Nut, which, to be honest, I think I'm going to declutter this because I just don't reach for that at all. I have the Cranberries and Chocolate palette, which is a really nice like berry toned palette. I have the Nudes palette, which is the one I was talking about, the more pinkier toned everyday palette, which is really nice. I have this Sleek Diamonds in the Rough palette, which is a palette that Frank bought me a few years ago, so I'm never getting rid of that. I have my Shaaanxo BH Cosmetics the Remix. You flip it over and you have different side on it. This is no longer available to buy, that's why I keep it in here. I have my Game of Thrones palette, which I haven't used in blimmin' ages, but I was such a Game of Thrones fan that I obviously just had to get it. So this is what the palette looks like. Obviously I don't really reach for it anymore because I don't know, like, can you still buy this palette? I thought it was like a limited edition thing, and once it was gone, it was like gone. But I've still seen a couple of stores sell it, so I'm not sure, but I need to use that again. I have the Sleek Colour Carnage palette, which I don't know why I've still got the packaging for it. They sent me this in PR, that's why it's in here and why I am not getting rid of it, because I don't know, it just like means a lot that they sent it to me. But it is definitely one of their colourful palettes. It's really good quality as well. Have a Focalier, I can never pronounce this brand. This is their Turkey palette. They sent me this so I could review their makeup, and it is actually a really nice palette. And then I have two more Forever Flawless. This is Allure, really nice cool toned palette. This is Utopia, if I can open it. Definitely got more purples and blues in here, but I just don't reach for them that much. That's why I keep them in here. And then the last palette in here is my Lick and Lash Playful palette. Oh god, this is me in an eyeshadow palette. I need to do a look on these colours here. I did do a look with these. It's absolutely stunning. So I'm going to put everything back in here, and then I'm going to bring over my new in drawer. Okay, so this is my new in drawer. It does have other makeup in it that I'm yet to film with, but we're just going to obviously be focused on the eyeshadow palettes. Guys, my wonderful, wonderful friend Emily, Miss EC Beauty, sent me the Morphe Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette. She already owned this, and because she's on the Morphe Glam fam, they sent her one, and I didn't ask for this. She did just say, like, if you like want it, you can have it. So I'm so internally grateful, but oh my god, I'm so excited. I finally own this palette. I'm going to do a video on this soon. I'm so blimmin' excited. This palette is way up my street, like so much more than her first one, and I now own like every single Jaclyn Hill palette, so I'm very excited. It is absolutely stunning. Then speaking of Jaclyn Hill, I have her other 3 Vault palettes. I have her Dark Magic palette, which is more of the green smoky palette. I have the Ring the Alarm palette, which is like more of like a brownie warm toned palette. And then the last one is her Bling Boss palette, which is more on the like purpley brownie side. Other palettes in here, I have the Makeup Obsession Cool Down palette. It's actually a really nice cool toned palette. Sorry about the dog hair. Yeah, I need to use this in like a tutorial. It's actually really nice. A recent addition is the Be Perfect and Jar makeup Jar. I'm not really sure how to pronounce the name. I do apologise. This is the Clientele palette. This is a beautiful neutral but like pops of green. Very excited about that. My other Be Perfect purchase last month was the Stacey Marie XL Carnival palette. Oh my god, I'm so glad I bought this. I got it when they had a 30% discount off. I'm so glad I picked it up. This palette is absolutely stunning. I have used it a couple of times now, but I'm yet to do a video on it. It is absolutely beautiful. And then we have a Revolution Pro new neutral palette. Guys, I've had this in my collection for months now. Months. And I have still not used it. I'm yet to do a video on this. So let me know down below. And the same goes with all of these other palettes. At the bottom, I have I Heart Revolution Honey, which is the all like shimmer palette. I have the Macaroon palette, which I've had for over 2 years. Still not done a video on it. That is great. I'm such a good YouTuber. I have the Waffle palette, which is a face palette. I did do a video on this, but it failed massively, so I didn't upload it. And the last palette in this drawer and in this video, guys, you'll be pleased to know, is the Chocolate Cherry palette, which I really do need to do a video on because this palette is beautiful, and this is what it looks like. So guys, that's all for my video today. Those are all of my eyeshadow palettes. Again, quick disclaimer, this video is not to brag. Like, I'm just showing you what you guys want, and you want to see my eyeshadow palette collection. I do feel like I needed to do this anyway because in my makeup collection video I did not show you every single palette I have in my collection, and since that video I have accumulated a lot more, so I thought I needed to do this video anyway. But obviously this is not to brag or anything. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry it's a long video because I know it's going to be very long. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please smash the thumbs up button. Let me know down below what's your favourite eyeshadow palette, and if you haven't already, please subscribe down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!